All right, so, wow, that's close. I am live today, and I am going to be doing a painting live for everyone. So I have this old canvas. This old canvas needs something new. It needs a little bit of a transformation. And I am literally going to take the transformation and make it something really beautiful. Something I've had in my head for a while that I've wanted to paint. So I don't want to bore you with a bunch of conversation, but I just want to share the process with everyone. So I'm just going to get right into it. Thank you for joining. And usually I see who's joining. I don't know who's there. So please leave a comment if you're joining me live. I don't even have any paint on the canvas yet. So as I mentioned previously, I never, ever paint start with a white canvas because it really can distort the colors. So I'm just gonna take some colors and throw them onto my palette and start the painting process. I may even take a moment to add a few people. Let me see if I can add a few people. Sorry. Here we go. Sorry, I'm just going to invite some people. If you're just popping in, say hello. Oh, shit. If you're just popping in, say hello. This is the first live painting that I've ever done. Excited about it. So it should be fun. So transformation process. And what better to show the transformation process than something that I love very much so. Hi, comment, or let me know who's joining. I can't exactly see who's joining. Please like and share as well. I'm taking this lovely canvas today and I am literally going to cover it with some beautiful reddish orange color, and this is going to be a bit of a transformation live. So oftentimes when I'm painting, this wasn't mine. I let some kids at my materials, and sometimes I just like to reuse canvas so that I don't waste it. And today I am going to transform this beautiful canvas into something a little bit different. And for me, one thing that really represents transformation for me, and something that I've wanted to draw for a while. Hi, Samantha. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I am throwing on the color. I'm trying to transform this used canvas into something that I've had in my head for a while. And I was just saying that the one thing for me that means represents transformation. In fact, I had a fiery red car, and it was named after this fiery red transformation bird of a phoenix. So I am turning this canvas into a burning phoenix because for me that is the ultimate representation of transformation. And if a lot of you have been following my story, you'll know that my journey is just beginning, but I am fully enthralled in a journey of change, transformation, personal transformation, and through my art. Hi everyone, thanks for joining. So I literally am taking this canvas and I'm going to transform it into something that represents me and what I've gone through in the last year and what I'm going through right now. A phoenix. So it's going to be really cool. So the greatest part about sometimes changing a canvas is the whole process of painting can be so wonderful, and I never know how it's going to turn out. I literally have something in my mind that I want to paint, and it is going to essentially come from that. Now, I am wondering if I've made this too wet, and it's not really covering that blue. So I'm just going to take some heavier red on this side and just kind of layer it on there. So usually when I paint, for me, a painting, as I mentioned yesterday, is layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. So nothing really, unless I'm doing something abstract like this, a painting can take me, a couple days, or I think the last painting that I did took me about 10 hours. And so that is a lot of time to spend on a painting, but sometimes when I have something that pops in my head and I feel like I need to get it out of my head and onto canvas, these kind of paintings, like the one I'm doing right now, is more abstract, and it kind of just flows through me. So I have no idea what it's going to turn out to be, but hopefully it'll be something that's beautiful. But really, like I said, the Phoenix for me has been just representation of transformation. I've gone through a lot of changes in the last 4 weeks, but especially over the last year. It's been an opportunity for growth, and I feel like some of the stuff that I went through kind of had me at the lowest point in my whole life, but learning from that has really changed who I am, and the person that I'm still in the process of becoming. But it's definitely something that I feel and something that I want to represent in a painting. So that's why I thought I'd go live today. So this is one of my favorite brushes. Hi Deb, thanks for stopping by. This is one of my favorite paint brushes for laying paint. It's really thick. It's a hard bristle brush. The only problem is that I have a lot of paint on here, so it may not dry as quickly as I want it to. And so for you guys that are joining me, if you were to think about a time in your life that was transforming, do you relate that to any character? Is there anything that really reminds you of that transformation in your life? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you feel your transformation animal or what have you is. Mine for sure is a Phoenix, and I had that red car, and it was my favorite car was my little red Phoenix. And I did recently just get rid of the Phoenix, only because it was a two-door car, and it was costing me way too much per month, but I did love it, and it was probably the sexiest car I ever had, and it really represented who I was. So really fun to drive too, which, I do enjoy driving quite a lot. So it was really, really fun for me to drive. One thing you'll notice about me is I am a messy artist. I usually have paint by the end of the few hours that I'm painting. I usually have paint on my hands and on my clothing. So I usually try to wear something that I know I don't care whether or not it gets paint all over it. And my lovely cloths they usually cover any kind of clothes that I'm wearing in case I do get paint on them. But so the one thing about acrylic is when you're using an acrylic medium, it does dry really, really quickly. That is if you don't have a ton of layers. So for me right now, I am just kind of layering it up here. I want to throw a little bit of orange in there closer to the bottom. So I'm going to kind of see if that's dry enough, because like I said, I'm trying to cover that little bit of a ton of blue over here. And it might even be part of the scenery. You never know. Sometimes you just got to work with what you have. And this is likely going to be one that's going to go in my studio that I am not going to sell this one, because for me, I have to remind myself that transforming it's not an overnight process, and it's a journey, and can't always happen the way that you want it to as well. So, but we all have that, we all have the hardships in our lives that change who we are and change the way that we want to live our life and the person that we want to present to the world. And I think that's something that's really come up in my life over the last 6 months is, who do I want to be in the world? How do I want to show up, and how do I want to represent myself? And painting for me has been the one avenue in my life that I feel like I'm really expressing myself, and I enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy putting paint on the canvas, and I really enjoy the transformation that happens, because when you start layering, you know, it might start off something like this that looks kind of messy. There's no real, what am I trying to say? There's no real substance to it right now. It's just some colors that I'm mixing. And a lot of artists do a lot of their mixing on their palette. But I actually, when I'm first starting off, hi everyone, thanks for dropping by, I appreciate it. When I start off painting, you know, I put this first layer of color, and it's just sometimes or most of the time is usually just a giant plop of color. And sometimes it looks like you're like, I even sometimes feel like, where the hell am I going with this painting? Like what, you know, what am I trying to, like, maybe that's supposed to be there. Pieces of myself in my art with my fingers. I do sometimes use my fingers also when I'm painting, but right now I'm just trying to get in. So I can tell that there's way too much paint on here, so I'm just going to kind of let it sit for just a moment before I add another layer, because I just really want this to have an opportunity to dry. So I will come and see if anyone's left me any lovely comments. Oops, right, I can't rotate. I love being live. It really tests your ability to do things on the fly. And I didn't realize that painting live would be such a fun experience, trying to entertain everybody while the paint dries. I mean, I'm sure that you don't want to sit here and watch the paint dry, although I could let you if you really like. But it is part of the process. So the first few layers of color, or one layer of color, has to dry. Kind of looks like a little bit of a sunset. So it's, yeah, it'll come along though. I promise I'll finish it in this live, and it won't be too long. Yes, and multitasking, Deb. Yes, you have to do. For me right now, I'm waiting in the mail for my camera holder, my tripod. So I have my phone stacked on a bunch of things, and in this little tiny holder that I had received a long time ago. So I've been working with that for the last few weeks, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for my tripod. Then I don't have to multitask. I can set you up, turn you, instead of like trying to throw you down and put you in the holder and make loud noises, and have fun with the technology. But it's definitely been interesting, to say the least. So anyone that just popped on, leave some comments below, say hi when you pop in. I appreciate your time. So you're just coming in, and I have been putting down some paint on a canvas, but I'm trying to let it dry because I was trying to cover a blue with a red. And so sometimes, depending on the tone of the color that you're using, it might be difficult to cover a blue. So I know that the blue under here, you can still kind of see it, but trying to get this to dry quickly, I'm gonna make it work. And for anyone that just dropped by, this is transformation for me, and a lot of you maybe relate to this, that we have those animals or those symbols in our life that represent transformation for us. And for me, it's a phoenix. So that's why there's some bright red and some orange on there. So I'm really excited to see what happens, and I'm going to turn you around because I'm going to start painting. Hi, Hanny. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, it's the same, Deb. When I first started going live, I would come downstairs like an hour before and start setting up in my studio to try to make sure that I had everything in its place. And then it's funny because every single time I come live, something happens, and it's like last minute. I'm like, I'm literally rushing around last minute and to get things in order. So it's quite fun. It's fun to be live. So let me challenge anyone that is on the live this afternoon, that if you haven't gone live, you definitely need to try to go live, because it is an experience in and of itself. It's super fun when you get people engaged and commenting, and I love sharing the process, especially when painting. I love sharing that with people, but it's so raw when you're live. Like you can't edit it at all. So I'm just going to add some orangey yellow at the bottom. It seems to be dry enough that if I add enough yellow, it'll kind of all blend and it'll look like fire, maybe. We'll see. Starting to a little bit. I love your damn videos, Deb. They're amazing, just so you know. I creep you all the time. I'm like, oh, is she going live? That mandala art, and I've been doing a lot of mandala art lately, so every single night before I go to bed, I'm drawing a mandala, kind of just to soothe myself a little bit, calm myself down, and kind of reflect on the day and what kind of emotions came through. Let me see how that's looking. Amazing. Sorry. Looking good so far. So something that I struggle with as an artist is wasting paint. I really hate wasting paint. I always put tons of paint, because you'll see me. I probably could have put half of the paint on there, and I'd still need more. Half the tube is what I'm trying to say. So right now I'm just using a filbert brush, and I'm literally just taking the orange. I haven't really, I wet my brush a little bit to start, but not much. And I'm literally just taking the yellow, the bright yellow that I have, and I'm just flicking it up from the bottom. And this is still kind of wet, so I'm kind of, I'm getting a fiery, like, feeling that I wanted to capture here, because the acrylic is still wet. The hard thing about painting on flat canvas is that it's difficult to maneuver, and I'm a person that really needs to sometimes hold the painting in my hand, so it's not always the easiest, but I think I'm getting the effect that I wanted to get today. So I'm just going to get some more yellow up here, and then what I'm going to do is from that, I think this is where the phoenix is going to start, right over here. So all right, I like the way it's looking. One of the other benefits of painting while you're live is that you get to actually see what you're doing on camera. So a lot of the times when I'm painting, I will always take a picture when I step away from the canvas. I'll take a picture of it, so then I can kind of see the process and the layers that are happening. And if there's anything I want to change in the photo, I can really see that. So that's kind of fun to do when you step away from the easel, just kind of, and it also like gives you an idea of the process of it and where you're at with it, and if anything really has to change. So I suggest, if anyone has any paintings, you know, during your trials, and oh yeah, I like how it's along. I wanted to add some white in there, and I might even wait till it dries a little bit more to get some on there. I think that's going to be the phoenix wings. Right here is going to be where the phoenix comes from. So again, I'm gonna downsize, because I feel like it's going to be a smaller phoenix than I actually really want it to be. I feel like I need a canvas like twice the size, because that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling like this transformation that I'm going through is really huge, and it's going to have a huge, it is having a huge effect on me, and I've been dreaming about it, and so it's funny. Now because this isn't completely dry in the background, you're gonna see some of that blue come through, but I'm okay with that. So I'm gonna make this be the bird's wings. So one of the reasons I love using a filbert is because it can give you that texture, even if you're not using a texturized paint. The paint that I use is a really rich paint, so it does tend to give me exactly what I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do is I'm just mixing some yellow on my palette here. Literally today I'm using 3 colors. Normally my palette is a waff with every color in the color circle, and I have like, I'm all over the place mixing, but today I'm really just focusing on these 3 colors because I'm just, I think the bird is going to start up here. So unfortunately my top paint isn't really as dry as I'd like it, but we'll see what happens. I'm just going to kind of do an outline of what I want it to be. So I want the wing to be here and the wing to be here. And sometimes before I do a painting, this one is really just raw. It's coming from my mind. It's coming from my heart. This is me transforming on canvas from another painting. But I really want this to show up right. So I'm just going to kind of do an outline here. But I will usually sometimes do an outline before I start painting. But this outline just happens to be in the paint, the wet paint. So you can't really see it because it's still pretty wet, but that's okay. It's totally okay. So as I said before, it's a process. Painting really is a process, and you know, like when I'm finished this, I might decide, oh, I don't like something about it, and I may sit down with this painting again. Oftentimes though, when I'm painting, when my paintings are this raw, they tend to really just stay the way they are. I usually just keep it as is because I feel like in the moment it's the rawest, and I don't necessarily want to change anything about it. And the reason why I decided to paint a phoenix today is I was kind of thinking about, you know, like as an artist, who am I, and you know, what does my art represent? And I'm doing a series right now of butterflies, and to me, it's another one of those transforming things in our world that remind us of not only how delicate the world is, but also how much the world can transform, and how nature has the most delicate insect turn into the most beautiful, you know, symbol. And for me, it's been that connection with the butterfly for me is that transforming. But so I was like, what, you know, like, oh yeah, it reminded me of how much I love the phoenix. And literally my car was named Phoenix, and she was bright red, and you know, I felt sexy in her, and I was like, I need my painting to feel sexy. Hi, thanks for joining everyone. I'm just here painting my Phoenix transformation. So as a lot of you know, and maybe some of you don't, I've, you know, gone through a lot in the last 6 months, and to me, of recent especially, I've really been doing some work on myself and reflecting on who I am and who I want to be to the world. And anyone that's watching the replay will be like, you already said that, but to me, a phoenix is the ultimate. You know, I felt like I was at the lowest in my life, and it hasn't been until the last, say, you know, 3 months where I've felt like I was accomplishing anything and, you know, becoming more of myself. So to me, that's what this lovely phoenix represents, my transformation and hardship, and coming out of that, and coming out of the fire and the dust, and really being myself. And, you know, that's something I think we all struggle with, showing up as ourselves. And I think more so now than ever, I'm showing up as myself and sharing it with everyone. So it's really exciting. It's exciting times, but it's also scary. But how does that look? So it's really been interesting, to say the least. I'm gonna get in with some more yellow because I feel like trying to represent that fire in the wings. So a lot of the time when I'm painting, the painting that I'm doing is really, maybe there's a picture that I'm using to paint, or there could be most of the time it's a picture. Anytime that it's like this and it's raw and I'm just kind of letting it flow through me, I had an idea of what I was going to paint today, but I had no idea of how I was going to paint it. I just knew that I needed to represent a phoenix on canvas. So it's kind of showing up a little bit here. Pretty cool. And really, you can see that it's just some simple brush strokes and you can have the most amazing effect. I'm going to go in with some red too. So when I do these kind of abstract painting, a lot of the time I won't go into the water. So when I'm painting from a picture, I find I go into the water quite a lot to like clean off my brush and start fresh. But when it comes to things like this, I feel like it just kind of comes naturally, and I don't go into my water as much, and I kind of let the colors blend a little bit, because then it gives me something really special. Like this is kind of giving me that really special feeling. I want it to feel like fire. I want it to be fierce. Kind of looking back at me saying, fuck yeah, girl, you got this. My inner spirit coming out. Oh, that kind of was cool. You can't really see it, and it's hard for me to bring it closer to you. But in the face, it kind of looked like there was eyes for a moment. It was really cool. And then I messed it up, but I'm going to add something there. There, a yellow eye. You can sort of see it. Beautiful. So really, I'm literally just, using some brush strokes. I'm not, there's no real technique here, to be honest. But it's fun, and I think you can tell that this is the phoenix transforming from the fire. So what I'm gonna do is make sure that it looks okay. So I actually am enjoying painting live, because I can see where I want it to go and what colors I need to add to make it pop a little bit more. How's the body look? The body looks a little red down here, so I'm gonna just plop in some reds, some yellow. So it's really coming together quickly, and I hope that it's easy for you to tell what that is. Yes. So I like being able to look at the camera, because then I can really see where I need to throw some color. It's coming out of the depths of the ash, a beautiful red phoenix. So transformation. So everyone that's on with me now, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate your time. Let me know leave me some comments and let me know what animal or what creature reminds you, or what represents you. What animal represents you is what I'm trying to say. What's your spirit animal? I think my spirit animal is a phoenix. I continue to have, things. I think we all do. We all have things that go on in our life that really change who we are and the direction in our lives. Some people can take that negatively and turn it into something that's really not that good for them. But I feel like in every situation that I've been given in my life, I feel like I've been able to overcome it, and it just makes me more of who I'm supposed to be, but also a better person, generally speaking. I always come out on top somehow, and I always use each moment that I'm given, whatever trial or tribulation I'm going through, as a learning tool. So let me know, what are your spirit animals? I appreciate you watching. I appreciate your time. I'm just going to go in here with some more yellow. Share with your friends. This is the first time I've ever painted live. Actually, this is the second time. About a month ago, I was doing an interview, and I did a lotus, which is another, spiritual symbolism. What do you guys think so far? What do you think of my phoenix? Let me know in the comments. Think I should add anything? Think I should take anything away? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm going to bring it to you a little bit closer so that you can really see some of that texture that I've created. So I'm going to work a little bit more on the wing over here. Let me know what you think so far. Let me know if you're painting. I got a text message from a friend of mine saying, you've inspired me to paint, and I love hearing that. I would love to inspire someone to pick up a brush. It is just so therapeutic, and it can really give you that release sometimes that you need. Just gonna go in here. You can really just let it flow. It can, I literally took an old canvas, and I turned it into this beautiful representation of a phoenix. So I said I was only going to use 3 colors today, but I lied because I want to use a little bit of brown or burnt umber to represent the beak. And I might even get a little bit of brown in through the phoenix just to kind of help her stand out a little bit. And I'm not using it a lot. Just kind of outlining the beak there a little bit so that it stands out a little bit more. And the other thing I want to do is in these fiery pieces at the bottom, I really want it to show up. I want it to look like it's on fire. So I'm going to hold it here and try to really get some more flames going on down at the bottom. I almost dropped it. I have done that before because I'm not someone who allows the canvas to just sit on the easel. I usually pick it up. Sometimes if I'm doing like hard lines, I'll like flip it over. Like I'll be like this painting sometimes. But that doesn't matter. All that matters is the finished product. All that matters is that I'm happy with the finished product. And hopefully someone else will be too when they take it into their home and enjoy the piece. So looks a little bit more like fire, I think. I may have overshot with the white, so I'm just going to go back in with some red or some yellow. So I literally, to create this today, have only used 3 colors. Well, 4 colors. And you'll see with acrylic, if you don't let it dry, I'm even going to go in with some red in here because I think it needs a little bit more red. Let me know what you think. I would love to hear your comments. I would love to know what represents transformation for you, be it a unicorn, a butterfly, a horse, a dragonfly. Some people think about dragonflies when they think about transformation. For me, obviously, Phoenix is a really, really strong image. So let's really get that in there with the red. So I think it's coming along pretty well. I think I've really got the representation pretty well. And I probably won't add too much more to it. I might add a little bit of white. I don't want to go too crazy with the white because I don't want it to seem like it's coming from that it's on fire, I guess, so much as it's coming from the fire. Let's get a little bit more white. So, what a great way to relieve some of my stress also. So, if any of you saw my post yesterday, technology's been kind of a dick to me lately, and I've been really feeling it today because I've been working really hard on getting things ready for going live and for posting, and just kind of trying to show up with my business and create content. And I felt like the whole world was against me today because My computer, as I mentioned, my computer wasn't working, and so I went to where I bought it, and unfortunately they're like, well, we are not opening the doors until Tuesday, so you can come back on Tuesday. So basically they're like, we don't really care. Deal with it. Come back when we open on Tuesday and we might help you. Was the sense that I got. We might help you, no guarantees. So I was beyond frustrated, and I was just like, you know what? I can't paint my beautiful butterfly. I'm just not feeling it. So I was like, what do I feel like painting? I need to get something out here. I need to put something on canvas because I'm feeling some pretty strong emotions. So I decided, hey, why not go live and share the process with everyone, and then you can share your thoughts with me if you so choose. So, like I said, when I'm painting, I don't really, I usually clean off my brush a million times. Thanks for liking. I'm glad you like it. I appreciate your input. But it's becoming more and more real. So, I'm not going to put too much more into it because I think I really like where it's at right now. I started doing small brush strokes up here and I don't really like it, so I'm just going to extend it. It's like extending the wing. And then I'm going to use some brown. You can kind of see the eye. Love having the camera to look at what I'm doing to make sure that it's turning out the way I want. Filbert brush. That's what I'm using right now with some burnt sienna. I absolutely love filbert brushes because they're just so versatile. You can see, and I'll get you a little closer, how fine a line I can get with a filbert brush. So if you see there, it kind of added eyes with yellow. Those just kind of happened. Those were just like random paint marks that turned into eyes. So I really like that it has yellow eyes. So I'm going to keep those yellow eyes and maybe expand on them with a little bit of white. But I just want to go in again with a little bit of burnt sienna and try to make this beak stand out a little bit more. The problem is that I've added so many layers of color that the color still isn't really that dry. So I can't put like a too deep of a color in there, but you get the gist of what I'm going for, I think. And in fact, I like that brown. So I'm gonna add a little bit more to my brush, water it down a little bit, because when you water down acrylics, they become not like not 100% like a water-based, but they just glide a little bit easier over paint. And since I have tons of layers, it's just kind of blending in a little bit and carrying some of the paint so that I can really get in there. And I just want to create some really strong lines so that you know that that's top of the wing. Kind of messed it up. So again, like painting, a brush stroke can change everything, but at the same time, a brush stroke can also, make everything. So it just depends on how you look at it. But I just love the layers too. Even though I'm not using a heavy body acrylic, which would give me a lot more depth when I am painting. One of the reasons I love the Liquitex brand is because it is, even though it's not a heavy body, it still has that, it's like a rather thick paint. Like it's not super runny. It's a high quality paint and it's really high pigment, which I also love because I am someone that really enjoys to work with color. And I'm really liking how this Phoenix is turning out. So I'm just going to add to the flames. I'm going to make it a little bit pointier. All right. So I think the Phoenix is almost done, which is pretty cool for me. So I don't know how long I've been on live because my phone, let's see, won't tell me. Does anyone know how long I've been live? Can you comment? Let me know. Let me know if you've been enjoying this. Let me know if you hate it. Let me know if you're going to paint. Share with your friends. It's always fun to watch someone paint. Maybe not the paint dry, but it's fun to watch. I hope you're having fun. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. I'm enjoying myself thoroughly, actually. I might even do this again. The reason why I like abstract as well is I feel like I don't put as much pressure on myself. When I'm doing a painting from a photo, or if I'm trying to represent something specific, like some of the butterfly wings I've been doing, I'm really hard on myself because I want to get it a particular way. So I find when I'm not painting like that and I'm painting more free, it really just kind of flows from me, and I don't put so much pressure on myself, I guess. So over here, I think it's a little too boxy. So again, because that red is still really wet over there, I'm getting some paint, some red combining, which I think it actually looks amazing. So cool. I'm gonna bring it down here too. Make it look a little bit more like a wing. Let me know what you guys are up to today. It's Friday, woohoo. What are you guys doing this weekend? Any major plans? I know for me, I am going to probably sit at the easel for hours because I have 2 paintings I want to finish in the series of butterfly wings. And if you are excited to find out what it was I finished on Wednesday, I finished a really cool painting on Wednesday in the series that I'm doing, and I can't wait to share it with everyone. So watch for that. That's going to go out on Saturday. I'm going to send out that on Saturday so everyone knows. So if you don't watch my live today, you're not going to know that that's coming out on Saturday, and you might miss it. So smart that you're here today, and also thank you for being here today. So I think I'm going to do another little bit of a dab by the eyes to make them really stand out. And I ruined one of them, which is fine, because like I said, sometimes it will ruin it, but sometimes it can make it. And in this case, it is not making it, but I don't always use my tools as I should. I am going to take some yellow at the end of my brush, the opposite end of my brush, and just go back in with the yellow because I really liked the fact that that was a yellow eye and you can really see it. And I might even go in here with some red to kind of like cover up a little bit of. So let me know what you think. Say hi if you're just dropping in. Thanks for stopping by. I just did this lovely phoenix, which represents transformation to me. And I'd love to know what represents transformation for you. If you are commenting and I'm not seeing the comments, I will certainly follow up after the live and make sure that I engage with you. So if you are commenting and I'm just not seeing it because Facebook sometimes is a jerk that way, I will definitely follow up. Please don't think that I'm ignoring you because I have a feeling that that might be the case. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of red to cover that blue that was on the canvas before, just because I really want the highlight to be, but I actually kind of like that the blue is showing through because it kind of adds to the depth of the red in the background. So yeah, I think I'm done. I think this is where it needs to be. And I don't think that I'm going to, I like the way that it looks. I like what it represents. I hope you have enjoyed watching this live, and I really appreciate you being here with me. And if you want anyone to check out my my painting, please feel free to share this live. Oh, I forgot. Sorry, I can't turn you. Share this live. Share anything that you see on my page. And thanks for your time, guys. I appreciate it. Love you all. Bye. If it lets me. I guess it doesn't want me to go.